Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Starcraft 2 England cast. Today I've got a game between WhiteRa and TLO. Now this is actually the second game in the replay pack of TLO, which was released on the 2nd of March 2012 on TeamLiquidPro.com. So go and check it out. There's some great replays there. There's actually 7 games between TLO and WhiteRa, so they've obviously been playing each other a lot, and a bit of strange probe micro going on here by WhiteRa, which obviously is never ideal. He must have misclicked or something. So TLO just asking no forge at start. Now, if I was WhiteRa, oh, this is actually the second game, so this is the game after WhiteRa run really quite easily in the first game. I mean, if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. But still, this map is obviously a shattered temple, so a very narrow ramp into the natural. Also not great for Zerg players, because if the Proto player does go for a fast expansion, then you have to clear out either these rocks or these rocks in order to take your third easily, or go a very out of position hatchery for your third base. Now they are close by air, so we'll wait and see, but may see some airplay go on. It is good. Drop play as well. WhiteRa in their first game of this replay pack did some amazing work with drops, and that's really what led him to win the game. Now if we take a look down here, there is this forward pylon, so WhiteRa is looking like he's going to be going for a forge fast expand, or at least a fast expand of some variety. In the first game, obviously he didn't get the forge, he just went for a gateway down on the low ground, which was a bit risky, but likewise TLO went for a risky build of going hatch first. Now it'll be interesting to see whether both players play the same. I mean, Game of Drones, aka TLO, is deciding to get that pull first, so is playing slightly safer than he did in the previous game against WhiteRa, but still getting a good look around of exactly what's going on. May actually get in there to try and block the hatchery, but no hatchery block will go off, and Game of Drones poor Game of Drones. TLO, no, you've got to be a bit quicker. And I said hatchery because quite a few Zerg players have actually been dropping a hatchery at the natural of the Protoss player to prevent that Nexus going down if they are obviously trying to go for a fast expand build. It is quite a big investment, but it basically just means that you prevent them getting that Nexus for such a long time. I mean, even if you cancel the hatchery, you force quite a few cannons, you force a lot of investment and time from the Protoss player in order to try and deal with it. But most importantly, actually no, TLO is just going to build a hatchery next to the Nexus, because it still does the same thing. It means that there will have to be some cannons down, otherwise there will be a queen in your base and units in your base, and it's also preventing the wall off, and preventing that wall off for so long will be incredibly frustrating, forcing 2 cannons out of WhiteRa straight away. So this is really where you have to think about investment. This hatch is a 300 mineral investment, and so are the 2 cannons. Getting a second hatch now just further back, so I don't actually know if WhiteRa has scouted that, but again, it's going to be out of range of those cannons, so if he does want to try and deal with that, he's going to have to build yet more cannons. Currently just transferring a lot of probes down, but those cannons aren't in range of the Zerglings, which are slowly harassing that Nexus down. Will pull some drones, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, there is still this hatchery here, a Zerglings coming in everywhere, and these cannons aren't able to defend this mineral line. So if WhiteRa wants to kind of keep mining from here, he's going to have to get out a third cannon or do some incredible stuff with this Zealot. But as it stands, it's going to be quite difficult to hold. But TLO going pretty all in with this. He's got no expansion, just building his expansion outside of WhiteRa's base. So clearly not too happy with the thought of this game going on for too long, and just going to go for absolutely everything he can. Now this cannon is going to be essential. If it does actually manage to get up, then he will be able to defend this area relatively easily and will prevent any creep tumors from spreading out too much. Getting a second cannon as well, so I mean, WhiteRa is economically ahead in terms of income, but he's having to spend a lot of money on cannons in order to defend this, and the hatch is going to finish as well, building a spine crawler. So TLO going to spine crawler rush WhiteRa. Not a build you often see go down. It's not the most effective thing, especially when you get a lot of cannons here, but we'll see what does happen. Obviously, WhiteRa's got no way to deal with this hatchery now at all, because the creep has spread, so he's got to use Zealots, and obviously with the spine crawler there, getting any Zealots into position could be quite difficult. Great surround going down. Obviously Zealots do very well against Zerglings, and that spine crawler isn't yet finished, but going to pull back. A queen is also on its way out now for TLO at this proxy hatchery. The spine crawler has now finished. The queen is also finished. Going to do quite a bit of damage. Some zerglings will go down to those cannons. And I mean, WhiteRa just going for the fairly standard. I'm just going to build stuff as I need it. And he's in a good defense position. He's got a lot of income. And this spine crawler is now in range of the cannon. But some roaches are finally coming out for TLO now. Going to be able to do some damage with them, just poking and prodding forward. The spine has managed to burrow now, so those zealots are going to be in trouble. There is a queen there as well, obviously, but more zealots are coming out. That spine crawler taking quite steady damage from the photon cannon, but the photon cannon will go down with the aid of the spine crawler. Now just more cannons being thrown down by WhiteRa. One getting killed wasn't actually cancelled either, so that's quite a big loss for WhiteRa. TLO just really committing to this attack. Still got no expansion of his own, so really at this stage in the game, TLO has to win pretty much in order to stay in this game. If he doesn't, or at least do incredibly significant damage, there's nothing left he can do. And this queen just saving up energy for a transfuse, and obviously once he transfuses that spine crawler, it will keep it working for a lot longer. There goes that transfuse down, using that spine crawler to soak up some damage from the cannons. Meanwhile, the roaches running forward are going to try and poke and prod at the cannons. Probes being pulled by WhiteRa now as well. The queen does go down to a zealot, but I mean, a lot of probes dying, but just WhiteRa just getting so many cannons. He's having to basically defend himself from this relentless assault from TLO, and TLO is ahead in food, but that's slightly misleading because obviously he does have those roaches out which take up a lot of supply. Meanwhile, TLO just completely cut drone production, but has stopped mining completely from this natural base of WhiteRa, and again just doing so much damage to the probes. The queen is going to go down to the cannon. I mean, there are a couple of roaches out and they are trying to focus down that cannon. They will actually get it killed, and that is a big win for TLO this stage, but both gateways being chrono boosted in order to try and keep the zealot production up to deal with this. But as it stands, that spine crawler just slowly moving forward and will now be in range of the nexus. And another queen also down for TLO at this proxy hatchery. And I mean, this nexus is almost certainly going to fall. There's no cybernetics core out yet for WhiteRa, only about half done, so stalkers aren't going to be out for a long time, won't be able to get cannons in position, so TLO's actually pulled this off. And meanwhile, he's just started taking his natural base, which will put him ahead economically. And this is turning out to be a very, very weird game. Just using the queen to focus down the gateway. And I mean, those cannons are useless, and this is the problem with static defense. They're great all while it stands, but they're quite a large investment and take a long time to kind of move or build. So once the position has been taken, it can cause huge problem. And a great use of a creep tumor here, which will delay that nexus coming down for a long time because there is absolutely no detection. Now, TLO choosing to take the creep tumor that way rather than even closer to the nexus just to block it for longer, but that gateway is going to go down, so now only one gateway. Warp tech is on its way, and WhiteRa's not in a good position here at all. Obviously, just moving forward now, a transfuse has gone off on the spine crawler, using the queens and roaches. A great transfuse on a roach there in order to take these cannons down, and WhiteRa's in a lot of problems here, and that zealot just in hold position is going to die without doing anything at all. A stalker has finally come out, but there's only one stalker against a queen, 3 roaches and a spine crawler. And behind this, TLO is just droning up, getting lair, getting speed, and he's in such a good position, trying to chrono boost out more stalkers there, WhiteRa, but it's not enough to deal with this, and I think he might actually be able to take out too much stuff. I mean, WhiteRa is just slowly getting behind, having to put cannons up on the high ground, but the problem is, of course, that there is a pylon on the low ground powering it. Now, these roaches are into the main base. Probes coming in, trying to protect the cannons, because that's really his last shot now, and just so much creep spread around here. WhiteRa is now supply blocked. I mean, this is pretty much over now for WhiteRa. If he manages to do something here, it would be incredible, because TLO has got his natural base up. He is droning behind all of this, is getting roach speed, has lair tech, and meanwhile there's only one gateway available for WhiteRa, but he is quite heavily supply blocked, not actually even building any more pylons as of yet, so only now just getting more gateways out, but he's supply blocked, and WhiteRa needs to build more pylons if he's going to be able to use those gateways. Obviously, Warp Gate is now finished, so he can use that to get some units out quickly, and obviously TLO has invested heavily here, actually getting drones from this proxy hatch, which probably because he's got all his hatcheries on one hotkey. Meanwhile, this gateway is going to go down, and that pylon is going to just start getting focused down by the spine crawler and will force WhiteRa to get out more pylons up on this high ground. And this game is going very, very weird. I mean, it's heavily in favour of TLO. He's just getting out his Hydralisk den now. Obviously, TLO knows that there's absolutely no chance there's Colossus on the field, and as a result knows that Hydralisks are insanely good versus anything other than High Templar and Colossi. So if there's no tech, make Hydralisks and go and win. Meanwhile, this Overlord being used very, very well to gain vision of the high ground in order to take out this cannon. I mean, now that cannon's gone down, WhiteRa is in an even worse position because that spine crawler can just move up onto the high ground and just keep moving forward. And I mean, great transfuses are going off. I mean, surprised that queen wasn't transfused by the other queen. He has got 2 left, maybe choosing instead to transfuse the roaches, but if he's going to transfuse, he's got to do it quickly. There we go, just in time. 1 transfuse goes down straight away. And I mean, TLO using his units absolutely to the max, keeping those 2 roaches alive for so long. I mean, they don't have that many kills, to be fair, but just the longer he keeps them up, the more damage they do and the more awkward it is. And WhiteRa is coming up to being 60 food behind now, so not a great position to be in on 1 base. Meanwhile, TLO, if you take a look at his natural, that is slowly getting built up, but TLO just going for absolutely maximum production. Lots of roaches coming out, not actually switched to Hydralisks yet, unless they are on their way over. No, just purely powering roaches, and that's because roaches are incredibly good against the army composition WhiteRa has available to him. And I mean, WhiteRa has pretty much lost this game now. There is nothing I could think of that he could do in order to win. There's just too much stuff, and once these sentries go down, it is pretty much all but over. But there goes the GG from WhiteRa, and just showing that a proxy hatch can work. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that game, and I'll try and cast another one as well and get another one of these TLO WhiteRa games up. If you enjoyed, I mean, I'm going to keep my Twitter updated pretty much exclusively with all the information about when I get new casts up, etc. So go and check that out. It is at SC2_England. If you enjoyed the video, obviously subscribe, and I'll try and get some more up ASAP. Thanks for watching.